everyone, welcome to part 6 of my in-depth review of the new Space Wolves Codex. We're now in the heavy support. So far, the Codex looks really good. I like it. Pretty good so far. And in this one, we're going to talk about some of the new heavy support choices. Most of the heavy support kind of stayed the same. It got realigned perfectly with the Space Marines. But we'll talk about that in a second. So we'll start off with one of the new awesome things in the Codex. It is the ugly shoe looking heavy support choice, the Storm Fang gunship. 220 points. It's ballistic skill 4, front armor 12, side armor 12, rear armor 12, 3 hull points. It's a vehicle, it's a flyer, has hover mode, and it's transport. It has a 6 model carrying capacity. And it has 1 access point on the rear of the hull. It has the Hellfrost Destructor, and we're going to go over each weapon it has because it is pretty good. So there's the Hellfrost Destructor, which has two fires, dispersed or focused, and they're both 24-inch range. The dispersed is Strength 6, AP3, Heavy 1, Hellfrost Large Blast, and that's that if you have an unsafe wound, they take a Strength test, and if they fail, models removed from play. And focus, 24-inch range, strength 8, AP 1, heavy 1, lance, Hellfrost. So this thing's going to be good. I think it's going to be pretty good at popping stuff. And it's got a Hellfrost Destructor, 2 twin-linked heavy bolters, 2 storm strike missiles, and ceramite plating, which I discussed in the previous video about ceramite plating. It also has special rules power of the machine spirit. Good stuff there. And yep, and it can replace the twin-linked heavy bolters with Skyhammer missile launcher for free, which is what I'd probably do. Or twin-linked multi-meltas for 20 points. If you have the 20 points, it'd be worth it putting 20 points on it. It'll fly on the table and destroy anything it wants. Or you can replace its 2 Storm Strike missiles with the following 2 twin-linked las cannon for 15 points. So for 35 extra points, 255 you get Hellfrost Destructor, 2 twin-linked multi-meltas, and a twin-linked las cannon. That'd be pretty nasty. So heavy support is always fun. This thing could fly on the table and do some heavy damage before the opponent gets to react. So that's pretty cool stuff. Cool stuff there. Up next we have the Long Fangs. Now this is an entry that will probably disappoint a lot of Space Wolf players because they kind of got used to some really spoiled Long Fangs. Long Fangs were the cheapest heavy support that could carry heavy weapons for Space Marine Codex period. Like they used to get cheap missiles, and that's what people used to do, is just spam the missiles. And so people are going to be a little bit upset that they got perfectly aligned with the Devastators of the Space Marine Codices. So now their upgrades aren't as cheap as they once were. Well, some of them are cheaper, some of them are more expensive. That basically comes down to it. So, cool stuff there. So Long Fangs are now 30 points for a squad of 2. Long Fang and a Long Fang Ancient. So that's 15 points each. They used to be 15 points, so that's no big change in cost. Same stat line as before. They have power armor, bolt, pistol, chainsword, frag grenades, crack grenades. They show no fear, acute senses, counterattack, split fire. And they have split fire, which is great. So now you can literally just split fire multiple targets, and you automatically pass. So that's good. You can fire 2 targets instead of 1. So that's a great thing. You can include up to 4 additional Long Fangs, 15 points a model. And they can replace it with a Power Fist, Long Fang, Ancient, may take Melt-A-Bombs, and of course you have access to heavy weapons. And as I mentioned, the heavy weapons got realigned, so that now it is perfectly in balance with the Space Marine Codex, which means that some of them got better, some of them got worse. Heavy Bolter's 10 points, Multi-Melt is 10 points, Missile Launcher is now 15. Used to be cheaper, now it's 15. But Plasma Cannon's 15, and Las Cannon is 20, so that got cheaper too. So Las Cannon cheaper, Missile Launcher more expensive. But Las Cannon I think is the way to go. I'd actually take Las Cannon on my Long Fangs. I know they're a little bit more expensive than you're used to because then they become like 35 points a model. But Las Cannons are better. Now in 7th edition they're even better than before because you need AP 1 or 2 to destroy vehicles in a 1 shot. Especially with split fire. If you want to split fire, you're going to only get 1 shot off your split fire target. You want to pop 2 things at the same time. You need AP. Las Cannon's the way to go. Missiles, unfortunately, got nerfed in this edition since AP3 weapons don't really do anything. Like, you're going to roll, the best you can roll is a 6. Maybe it's open-topped and you get a 7, but you need a 6 to just immobilize it. Versus a Las Cannon, where you actually can blow up a vehicle in a single shot. And there's probably some psychic powers you can use to combine with this stuff too. And And yeah, they can take a Rhino Razorback, a Drop Podder as a dedicated transport. So I'd probably take if you still take Long Fangs, I'd go Las Cannons. Las Cannons are better. Definitely. Up next, Vindicator. And once again, the Vindicator, the Whirlwind, and the Predator all got realigned to be in balance with the Space Marine Codex. So the Vindicator is now 120 points. It used to be 115, went up 5 points. But I'm pretty sure that's consistent. Let's double check with the Space Marine Codex here, because I always keep it in line. When I'm talking about Space Marines, I always like to keep the other Space Marine stuff in, yeah, 125 points. So it's actually 5 points cheaper for the Vindicator for the Space Wolves than the Vindicator for Space Marines. And has the same stat line, same armor, demolition cannon, searchlight, smoke launchers, and can take a siege shield for 10 points. Pretty good. So you save 5 points, might as well spend 10 and get your siege shield, and you're in a great shape for your Vindicator. Good. Up next, Whirlwind. Same points cost, 65 points. It went down from 85 down to 65. That's basically happened with the Dark Angels Codex and the Space Marine Codex, and it's the same exact thing as it was before. You might be able to have some fun and combine it with some of the weapons, but I've looked and Whirlwind's a Whirlwind. You know what I mean? Predator, and a Predator's a Predator. Predator, 75 points. Predators used to be 60, so they went up by 15 points, and they're now perfectly in balance, once again, with the Space Marines Codex. So they're just Space Marines, and they're equivalent to the Space Marines. Same points upgrades. You can take a twin-link las cannon, heavy bolter, las cannons, Space Wolves vehicle, equipment. Yeah, the only Space Wolves, if you're gonna like take a Vindicator, the Space Wolves equipment that I might want to recommend is the Ceramite armor. I believe you can take it. Nope, just extra armor. Those are blade storms and 100 kilo missiles. Pretty standard stuff. Yeah. So then we get into the Land Raiders. And nothing changed with the Land Raiders. So there's the Land Raider Crusader. Sorry, just the Land Raider. Let's begin with the standard Land Raider. 250 points. Once again, it stayed the same. 250 points. Nothing really changed for point costs. Still the same Land Raider. Armor 14 around. Twin-link heavy bolters, las cannon, searchlight, smoke launchers. It's assault vehicle with power and machine spirit. 10 model capacity. It's a Land Raider. Up next, Land Raider Crusader. It's a Land Raider Crusader. You know, once again, 14 all around. Twin-linked assault cannon. 2 hurricane bolters, frag assault launchers, searchlight, smoke launchers, assault vehicle, power machine spirit. Capacity 16 models. And then there's the Land Raider Redeemer, which once again realigned with the Space Marine and Dark Angels Codexes, are 240 points, twin-linked assault cannon, 2 flamethrower cannons, frag assault launchers, searchlight, smoke launchers, assault vehicle, powers of the machine spirit, and its carrying capacity is 12 models. Cool stuff there. And that's it. So that's the end of the heavy support choices. I might as well keep going, because we're only 8 minutes into this video. You know what? I'm going to keep going, and I am going to talk about the Lords of War. People. 3D. Lords of War. Now, in the previous codex, people were really surprised. I was surprised, count me in one of them, that Gosgal Thrako was put as a Lords of War, but he wasn't improved in any way. He was kind of made worse and moved into Lords of War. And in this codex, once again, HQ moved to Lord of War. So I'm thinking it's a trend. So as I said, Mephiston, I could see it being moved to Lord of War for Blood Angels, and we'll see, for each army, maybe each army is going to get a Lord of War HQ. So in this codex, it was Logan Grimnar, except Logan Grimnar was improved and moved to a Lord of War. His points cost was dropped. He used to be 270 points, I believe? Yes, 275 points. And he was knocked down to 250. He's now a Lord of War. His stat line is, I believe, the same. Weapon skill 6, ballistic skill 5, strength 4, toughness 4, 4 wounds, initiative 5, attacks 5, leadership 10, 2+ save. And he also has access to something called a Storm Rider, which sounds like a Signar thing from War Machine. But Storm Rider is a chariot, and they put in another chariot into the game. Now it's open-topped, and I'll discuss the reason why. I think it's just open-top for purposes now. It's an assault vehicle, so he can jump out and assault if he wanted to, or if he had to. It's 12 around, 3 hull points, ballistic skill 3, and it's a vehicle chariot open-topped. So it's cool. There's another chariot in the game. There's not that many chariots in the game other than like the Necron chariot. So I'm glad that they finally put another chariot in the game. The model looks a little weird, but it'll come out next week. So it'll be cool. And of course, his Terminator armor, Stormbolter, a Belt of Rust. Saga of Majesty is his Warlord trait. Special rules: they shall know no fear, acute senses, counterattack, Eternal Warrior, independent character, stubborn. And he can ride a Storm Rider for an additional 70 points. And I recommend it. For 70 points, you have hilarity in your Storm Rider. So that's pretty cool stuff. Let's go over the Storm Rider. But, yeah, we'll go. So he has the Axe Morcai. The Axe Morcai can be used in 1 or 2 hands, so you can choose whichever one you want. Logan Grimnar may split his attacks between the 2 modes, making some single-handed and some two-handed. This can grant an extra pile-in move. Declare how many attacks will be made with each type at the start of the fight subphase. The attacks have the following profile. So one-handed is strength +2. So strength +2 will be 6, AP3, melee. Not bad at all. And then there's two-handed, which is strength ×2, making it strength 8. AP2, melee, two-handed, unwieldy. So he'll just start chopping down Terminators and knobs like no one's business. That's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool weapon. I like that. That's a cool upgrade for the Axe Morcai. I think he'd be fun. I think Logan Grimnar is going to be in some fun lists. Logan Grimnar was a frequently used HQ when he was an HQ, and now that he's a Lord of War, I definitely see him being used in some competitive lists, especially on top of his Storm Rider. So let's talk about his Storm Rider for a second. It's a chariot, and it has a 4+ invul save, and can move up to 12 inches in the movement phase. All penetrating hits against the Storm Rider count as glancing hits instead. So you need to get a bunch of pens or glances on it. It has armor 12 rounds, so it'll be pretty hard to kill. It has a 4+ invul. Can't really go wrong with that. When riding Storm Rider, Logan Grimnar loses the Deep Strike special rule, which makes sense. You can't Deep Strike a chariot, which is conferred from his Terminator armor. Can no longer join other units or be joined by other independent characters. If riding Storm Rider, Logan Grimnar makes 4 additional Strength 5 AP- attacks in each assault phase. 4! Run him into a squad of boys. 4! On top of his normal 5. He has 5 normal attacks, and if he runs into assault, he gets 6 attacks, plus 4, 10 attacks, people. 10 attacks. Can't go wrong there. These attacks are made at initiative 5-step. This can grant an extra pile-in move and have the rending special rule. So strength 5 with rending. That can glance a Land Raider. Yeah. Before he attacks the Land Raider and gets more glances with his two-handed. So that's cool. He can take down a Land Raider by himself. It'd be 6s to glance, but still, not bad. So that's Logan Grimnar. The new, moved to Lord of War slot. Cool stuff. Up next, we have the Great Company, which is now a formation. I'm going to talk about formations because I'm out of the Lord's War, so I might as well talk about formation. It's called the Great Company, and it has a Wolf Lord, 1 Wolf Guard Battle Leader, 1 unit of Wolf Guard, 5 units of Grey Hunters, 1 unit of Wolf Scouts, 3 units chosen from the following Blood Claws, Swift Claws, Sky Claws, and 2 units of Long Fangs. Restrictions: 1 unit of Grey Hunters must include a Wolf Standard. That's pretty cool. And special rules: Jarl of Russ. If this formation is chosen as your primary detachment, you can reroll the result when rolling on the Warlord traits. That's not that special. I'm pretty sure you can do that anyway. Pretty sure if you choose your list from the Warlord traits, you automatically... Maybe I'll check that, because that doesn't seem like a really nice bonus. Let's see here. Yeah, maybe. Alright, so you can re-roll your Warlord trait. And that's interesting. But you get Jarl of Russ anyway if you get Codex Space Marines. So yeah, exactly. It's not that cool of a bonus. Cunning of the Wolf. Before detachment, roll a d6 for each unit of the formation, adding +2 to the result if the unit's battlefield rolls troops. Yeah, and you just, on a 6+, that unit gets Outflank. Outflank is amazing with Space Wolves, I think. It'll be a really good rule for them. And you also get Howl of Wolves. And you also get to choose, in addition, at the start of each of your turns after the first, you may select 1 unit with from this formation that is in reserves. They automatically pass arrive automatically. And finally, the Howl of Wolves. As long as the Wolf Lord is alive, all units in formation have Fear and Furious Charge. That's where the interestingness is of this formation. Because if you have a bunch of guys running around causing fear, and these days they're kind of trying to remove Fearless from the armies that aren't Space Marines, you're going to do some fun. Fear and Furious Charge. So +1 Strength, which is going to be handy in close combat, because you want to get them in close combat, and Fear, which is great in close combat. Great stuff. Great stuff. Excellent. So that's it. That's the Space Wolf Codex, people. Wow. So, I might as well just finish here and discuss my final thoughts after reading through the Codex a bunch of times and discussing it with you all in this review. My final thoughts, I think it's a decent Codex. I think it's well written. I think it's very well balanced with the Space Marines. They didn't get access to the Grav weapons, but the Grav weapons are specific to the Space Marines. Like Dark Angels don't have them. I don't think Blood Angels are going to get them. Space Marines are going to get them. That's their thing. But Space Wolves, they got some great new additions with the shoe on a flying shoe thing, and the murder horn, murder dreadnought, and the new dreadnought shield is amazing. Bjorn got it great. The new force organization chart is going to be fun. 6 HQs, a lot of which I'd recommend running the cheap guys, like the command squad leaders or rune priests. It's going to be so dangerous. The psychic powers did get nerfed pretty badly. But you can have a lot of Psychers running around causing a lot of mischief. And Living Lightning, everyone will get Living Lightning if you take the Tempestus powers. That's great. I definitely see some Thunderwolf Cavalry in some really competitive lists. 3 squads of Thunderwolf Cavalry and the new HQ, which is named... Sorry, I forgot his name because he has a wolfy name. The guy on Thunderwolf, whatever his name is. Yeah, him. Harold Deathwolf, I think, is going to be in many competitive lists. Bjorn is going to be hilarious. Ragnar Blackman's great. Canis Wolfborn has his role. Niall is just as good as... Well, no, he's not just as good as before. He did get improved ballistic skill, I'm pretty sure. But he's going to be a good Psyker. He's a good anti-Psyker, and he'll be a good Psyker. He's a level 3. He'll have some great dice to negate your opponent's powers. He doesn't get a Storm, but still he'll be very useful, I think, in some lists, especially when combined with a bunch of Rune Priests. You're going to outnumber your opponent's dice, and you're going to negate him like crazy. And that's great. Bjorn, awesome. Lucas will be fun if you want to run Blood Claws. I'd recommend Lucas. There are tons of options in this that don't take up force organization charts. Iron Priest, if you're going to take Dreads, take an Iron Priest. He'll keep your Dreads alive. He'll keep them happy. That's good. Lone Wolves. If you want to run some troops, and of course you have to run troops, take some Lone Wolves. They're great for just running around, killing things, trying to contest objectives. Dreadnought and Murder Fang, as I mentioned, are awesome. Wolfguard, Terminators are just as good as they ever were. Arjak Rockfist is great. He's cheap. Tons of the HQs got dropped in cost. That's great stuff. Swift Claws, yeah. I really like the new flyers are going to be good on the table. Thunderwolf Cavalry are going to be great just as ever. And that's it. And the heavy support, as I mentioned in this video. And if you want to take a Lord of War, Logan Grimnar is a great Lord of War on his chariot, even better. For 320 points, he's going to run around killing everything on the table. So, that concludes my in-depth review of the new Space Wolf Codex. I think it's good. Leave a comment in the comment section down below what you think about it, what could be improved, and how to run some competitive lists. I'm going to think about this more in the near future, about some great lists for this army. I think it'll be a good codex. I think it will do the army justice. I know they lost some special rules, but I think they got some good stuff in this codex, and they'll be a good army. So, thank you very much. Stay tuned for more codex reviews. As always, my name is Jay, and I'll be making them every time a new codex comes out. So until next time, this is Jay saying, happy painting.